Howdy 102ers. We have another quick and easy week in terms of submissions, but there is a very important couple of things for you to review, so we'll take our time on them. It shouldn't be a very long video, but I have been known to be wrong about these things before. So, since we're heading into the last third of the class with your draft due next week, not this week, I just need you to relax and make sure that you watch the end of this video for the intended schedule of events, okay? Do that, and your stress will melt away. Okay, cool. Now that we've set this up to start, let's visit our old friend, the announcement, to make sure that you remember that these are important. Yeah, I kind of write a little bit. I talk about daylight savings time ending. I talk about voting. I talk about, just getting ready, the fact that we have another month to go. We recap week 10. We jump into week 11. I apologize that there's no more Scooby-Doo themes. You can see that. I'm going to give you the video chapter listing as soon as this is over with. You can preview when this is due. The week 14 is going to be your final draft. Read these two assignments, and here's something else that I am going to show you in the video. And then the only assignment is a discussion board, which is due by Sunday, November 10th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. All of that in one helpful place. But if you want to go back and take a look at the 102 Masterclass schedule, go over here to the right, click on the 102 Masterclass schedule, scroll all the way down here to week 11, which is right after Election Day, and you will see these two here, okay? So we have two pages to review and a discussion board to do, and instead of me dragging this out, let's jump right into it with tips for writing counter-arguments and rebuttals. So, this page has some nuggets of information, but, unfortunately, it's rather quick and lacks a lot of solid discussion on not just what to do, but why we do it in the first place. So, see? So quick, so easy. And by the way, that last sound, that's what you get when you forget to mute your phone as you're recording videos. In any case, I've sometimes asked people during debates, did you just wait for me to take a breath so you could just jump in and start speaking? Or did you actually have something of note to say? Seriously, how many of us listen for breaks in the conversation just to jump in without really listening to the other person's point of view before we do? That's not giving a counter-argument, folks. That's a verbal attack. A solid counter-argument takes in all of the initial argument points, processes them, and then attempts to refute one or more of these points with counter-evidence. Yes, counter-evidence. This can be defined as evidence specifically found in response to an argument, which is presented in the, you guessed it, counter-argument. I've said before that an argument, and now, in this case, a counter-argument, that has no real evidence to support it, it's really just an assertion. We don't like assertions. Assertions are just verbal diarrhea that do more to show your inability to logically respond to that argument than to ever convince your opponent that their argument was wrong in the first place. Knowing that, we need to know how to accurately counter an argument. The first thing we have to do is provide a very clear and solid transition to illustrate to your reader that we are leaving the main argument and heading into a totally different direction. Now, there are many appropriate transitions that you can use. Some are listed on this page. See, counter-argument transitions. And I have provided another link in your announcement that you can see right here. You can choose whichever one makes you feel stronger about the transition. Now, as you can see, this page isn't really all that warm and fuzzy like Delaware Tech's Brightspace pages. But what it lacks in back rubs and unicorns, it more than makes up for in down and dirty mechanics. By looking at this page, you can see how the sausage is made. Seriously, though, this is very helpful to get you thinking about your transitions and assembling the ideas. So all of these maroon areas, you'll see that it says, okay, well, the following sentence frame helped out my students considerably on counter-arguments. First contrasting transition, plus naming the opposition, plus strong verb, plus opposing point of view, plus evidence, plus analysis, plus second contrasting transition, plus referencing the opposing point of view, plus turn. What the hell does all that mean? Luckily for you, they break it down. The first contrasting transition might be a word like however, or but, admittedly, although, or alternatively, showing your reader that, yes, we just went down this path, but there's a different way we can go. Naming the opposition, make a count of who you are arguing against. Some people might say some or others or, the opponents. But if you explain who the opposition is, for example, if you're writing a paper on raising the stakes for repeat DUI offenses, maybe your opposition are people who believe that alcoholism is indeed a disease and these people have no control over it. Okay, great. That is your opposition. That's somebody who you are arguing against. If you're writing a paper on abortion rights in America, maybe your opposition is going to be the conservative Christian consortium. Maybe if you are saying, no, we need to get rid of it, maybe your opposition is going to be the non-religious liberal side of the United States. Whatever you want to say, that's going to be the opposition. Strong verbs, these are very important. So if you give strong verbs of denial, reject, oppose, disagree, question, doubt, and assertion, basically you agree with, argues that, reasons that, claims that, supports, concludes that, okay? And then finally, give that opposing point of view. Just don't assume that your reader knows what the opposing point of view is. It's not a black and white thing. The example I use all the time is no one wants to think of elder abuse in nursing homes. No one wants to think of their grandparents getting beat up in a nursing home. But the opposing side of that is not, they've lived a long life, it's okay. That's stupid. You would never say that. So clearly explain the opposing point of view. And then, of course, give that counter evidence. Show us very clearly what the other side thinks and why they think it. Then break it down. Tell us why that is either weak or strong, okay? And then you're going to give another point. Still, however, but, and you're going to keep going and then bring up the opposing point of view as well. And then before you're done, that's when you go into the turn and you go into the rebuttal itself. So like I said, this page, it's not very easy to understand, but once you break it down into those component pieces, you're going to have wonderful, wonderful counter arguments and rebuttals. Now, the rest of this page is how to put together the rest of your counter argument and rebuttal. After the oh-so-necessary transition, you'll need to work in CSET again by making the claim for your main counter argument point. After that, you hit the reader with your setup and provide the evidence as to why the claim for your counter argument is actually a strong idea. It's literally the exact same thing that you just did in your argument, but now you're going in the complete opposite direction. Finish up with the tie-in, and you'll already have a pretty solid counter-argument. Do not rest on one simple idea. It's so nice that you want to do it at least twice, so go in for another counter-argument point, okay? Once you've established the counter-argument, you get to switch gears again, once again using CSET, and present why, while the counter-argument seems okay to some, it's actually still all about your argument itself. You can tear down your counter-argument here to show why the overall argument is still the strongest thing going. Again, the most important thing here is both the solid transition showing that you're moving in a different direction, again, and the evidence you are using to support your rebuttal points. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you the discussion board I expect you to do, and this will all make a lot more sense because I put a pretty solid sample in there. Now, the next page to review is paraphrasing your argumentative research paper, and it's really not very good. Sorry, the page isn't. First, you've already seen the whys and wherefores of paraphrasing before. I want you to do it because it shows me that you understand. Any fool can just copy and paste something. It takes somebody to truly comprehend the idea prior to you paraphrasing it. So, you know how to do that. Next, this page really isn't about paraphrasing to begin with. It's someone's rant about citing paraphrasing. Just remember that if you use any outside source, whether you directly quote it, also known as copying and pasting, or paraphrasing it, also known as taking someone else's ideas and putting them into your own words so that everyone understands it better, you must cite it, now and forever. Don't ever forget that. If it's not your material, you must give credit to the original author. So what's the big takeaway from this page? It's the type of citing that you must do. Officially, the American Psychological Association states that you must provide author, year of publication or update, and the location of the information. That's my phrase for the page or paragraph number. And you have to do this for any direct quote. Now, the APA also states that for paraphrases, you must provide the author and year of publication or update, but the location of the information is optional, which means that you can choose to include it or not. They leave it up to your receiving institution or instructor. Now, to be 100% honest with you, I prefer seeing the location of the information. Again, that's the page or the paragraph number in every single citation. Why? Well, in a direct quote, it's a rule. In a paraphrase, it shows me and your other readers not only where the paraphrase begins, right after the year, but also where it ends. Your reader never has to guess if the next sentence is part of your paraphrase or the beginning of your tie-in. There's no muddy waters here, folks. Now, your paraphrase or, I'm sorry. Now, my colleagues are, some are dead set against this. I'm not sure why. You're literally adding as many characters to the paper as you would if you typed in a telephone number. That's it. Honestly, you're adding more characters to the telephone number, but whatever. So this is called bookending, and it's incredibly helpful for all those involved. So if you go down here, I don't know what happened here, but bookending and APA style, parenthetical citations, citation format. Here it is, bookending, set up evidence, citation. See? That's what happens. So all of this can show you exactly what it means. It's fantastic. You do not have to do the Unit 3 paraphrasing project at the end of this page unless you really want to. I'm very happy to receive it. I'll be very happy to comment on it, and I'll be very happy to return it if you'd like to work on it. But if not, there's no skin off my nose, okay? Finally, let's take a look at the only assignment for this week, the Unit 3 Counterargument and Rebuttal Planning Discussion Board. Clicking there brings us here, and honestly, it's pretty helpful, actually. It focuses the draft of your counterargument and rebuttal, so I know exactly what you're thinking about if you're taking it seriously. Please make sure that you do exactly what is being asked here, okay? Make sure you're doing exactly what is being asked here, because if you do this right, you've literally written that page or two of your final paper. Seriously. Look at the requirements here. Boom, 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 boom. Perfect. Wonderful. Amazing. Then look at my sample below. Here it is. Click on more. Ooh, there it is. I actually you do not have to put the numbers in, by the way. You don't have to put the numbers in. I just put them here to show you exactly where they fit. So this first point here, the transitional phrase, well, that's right here. And then 2 and 3, we're going to have these ideas in the citation. We have ideas in citation. We have another transitional phrase. We have ideas in citation. Down here, we have 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, but no 3. And these are these 3 bullet points, okay? So everything is in there for you to look at, okay? I give you my thesis to remind you. So if you're smart, what you're going to do is you're going to copy this and put your thesis in there and then give me your counter argument. Look at 2 paragraphs, okay? Rebuttal and 2 paragraphs. If you do that, you're going to do a great job because honestly, if you copy and paste my sample into Microsoft Word and make sure that you set the font size and spacing correctly, this is 1 2/3 pages. If your argument was, say, 2.5 pages, that's probably at bare minimum, you're looking at 4+ pages of text already completed with your background and introduction and conclusion to go starting next week. You're welcome. Speaking of that, If you listened to me and what I asked you to do last week, you should already have your argument points completed and sitting safely in a file somewhere. You should have roughly 2 to 3 to 4 pages of material already typed for just your argument. Now, if you add the counterargument and rebuttal to these argument points, you should have your development almost completely finished by this week's due date. Because honestly, if you do the discussion board, you copy and paste it into your development, and that's all done. It's a one-stop shop. So, this coming week, you're going to have your draft due. Next week, not this week. So I'll be talking about the background section in addition to your introduction and conclusion in next week's video. Once you get all of that completed, your paper is done, and you just have to worry about proofreading and formatting. It's kind of nice to have this all taken care of ahead of time, right? And that's all she wrote, folks. Honestly, there's a few weeks of these last few weeks of simplicity have really helped you get your paper, ready in submission shape. If not, you have a draft next week. Again, not this week. And then you submit it in week 14 with all of the proofreading done. Keep chipping away at it. Now, y'all have a great week. I hope you enjoyed Halloween, and I hope you were able to do your civic duty and vote. If nothing else, remember this. Your complaints about who won or lost mean absolutely nothing to me if you did not take the time to vote. So hopefully you did. Have a great week. See ya.